Hey there everybody, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm wanting to do kind of like a part 2 or a sequel to my first video that I made here on this channel about the Britney Spears Oracle deck. I don't anticipate this channel turning into a channel completely devoted to the Britney Spears Oracle deck, but after I've had some time now to use this beautiful Oracle deck, I've really come to enjoy some of its mechanics and, just the way that it reads. And I was wanting to share some of those insights with you, as well as showcase how those mechanics work and how you can best integrate them. Now, as part of that, I have also, in this video, I'm going to include a 5-card tarot spread that I use in conjunction with this deck so that you have not just kind of a walkthrough or review of the cards and packaging, which I kind of focused on in that first video, but you get to see a little bit more of the practicality behind these cards and how you can actually incorporate these readings into your own practice. Now, one thing that I did say in that previous video was that there's no spreads in the guidebook at all. And so that kind of warrants a little bit of a search. I'm assuming that perhaps the intention of this deck was purely to serve as like a 1-card meditation style of Oracle deck. However, this spread that I've used has been really insightful and helpful, and I think it works really well with this deck, which is why I wanted to share it with you guys. Now, without further ado, the spread that I'm going to show you is inspired by rose quartz. It's a rose quartz spread that I found on Pinterest. And originally it was that initial superficial rose quartz connection that drew me in. I did feature this beautiful chunk of rose quartz, again, touching it, loving it, in my last video. And I kind of called it out as kind of embodying some of the Britney energy that I really enjoy. And so I did take a gander at that spread, and I kind of realized that the characteristics or properties of rose quartz as a crystal meshed really well with what I believe are the intentions of this Britney Spears Oracle deck. The Britney Spears Oracle deck, just to reiterate, is not really like a shadow deck or a dark deck, really. It's very positive, very affirmative. And so by using this kind of very light, very positive deck in collaboration with a very compassionate and loving spread, I think you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So let's go ahead and review. I guess also part of this practicality part of this video is I'm finally going to show you guys how this baby shuffles, because it is so nice. Look at this. Just a dream within a dream. It shuffles and bridges very smoothly. Just so professional. I really enjoy this this matte finish for these cards, because it means that they're not like these super glossy plasticky cards that just kind of fly out of your hands the second that you try to shuffle them. Okay, so that's been cut. I'll go ahead and leave this deck here. Now, for this spread, I did want to just kind of walk through the spread first and kind of unveil the cards and kind of leave them out real quick first, and then go more in depth with the cards and their meanings. That's also kind of a purpose that I wanted to show in this video, is what does it look like to actually use these cards in a spread or in a reading. And for a future video, I'm thinking of kind of doing a deep dive into every single one of the cards and kind of providing a background that, a Britney superfan could provide. So if that sounds interesting to you, please leave a comment below and let me know if that's something that, you think would be worthwhile. But anyways, moving on to the spread. I'll link this spread below so that you can see it. It's a beautiful graphic. But the first card in this spread deals with the question of what aspect of my life needs more compassion. And so here we draw the Princess of Pop. Love that. Now, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about what this means, how it corresponds to its placement in this spread. But again, just wanted to go through and establish the spread first before we go more in depth into it. And also just to give you and your own intuition and insight some time to take a look and gather some information. Now, the second card in this spread is what aspect of my life needs more harmony. And in this case, we have the Siren from her beautiful Toxic music video. Now, the third card in this Rose Quartz spread is about self-love. What aspects of my life need more self-love? The boho babe. I'll move these over just a little bit as I'm anticipating the completion of this spread. Beautiful. Now, the fourth card isn't relating specifically to any one aspect of your life, but it is more of what step do you need to take in order to strengthen your self-esteem. Oh, great. The Forest Fairy. That's beautiful. And then the final step in this spread is to, hold the crystal in your hand, kind of just like imbue and take notice of the energy of that crystal, and to allow that energy from the crystal, from the spread. You can apply whatever metaphysics you want, but ultimately you need to be taking in the context of the entire spread and allowing just that understanding to flow through you. And then when you're ready, you draw the final card, which is a piece of insight or advice given the rest of this. And in this case, the Masterpiece. Look at this beautiful spread. Okay, I'm gonna move this deck out of the way so we can focus on the cards that we have in front of us. Now, let's start here at the beginning. The Princess of Pop as the aspect of your life that needs more compassion. Now, the Princess of Pop as a card is a really interesting symbol because it symbolizes the multifaceted nature of Britney Spears' fame and character. Specifically, it is the multifaceted talent, vision, and authenticity of Britney Spears. That can be broken down into beliefs like believe in yourself, do the things that you want to do you basically, and speaking your own truth, right? Just kind of the embodiments and hallmarks of Britney's career. And also the characteristics that led her so quickly to rise up in the pop sphere as just a total phenomenon. So when it comes to compassion, you may want to recognize that same talent, vision, and authenticity in other people. You can also be compassionate to yourself. If you find that any of those kind of mottos that I shared, if you find yourself lacking in your belief in yourself, if you find yourself unmotivated to do the things that you want to do, or if you find yourself kind of incapable of speaking your own truth for whatever reason, those are areas of your life that you can definitely be more compassionate about. So recognizing the multifaceted nature of other people, as well as recognizing your own complex interior world, right? Imagine Britney herself in this stage, right? This is, I believe, an outfit from her Oops, I Did It Again tour. That's just her second album, and it's still one of her teen pop albums, right? So to the public eye, she's just getting onto the scene and capturing people's attention, right? But to Britney, that represents the culmination of probably about a decade's worth of work, starting from when she was very young on Star Search, all the way into her years working as a Mouseketeer, and then finally just kind of achieving this kind of stardom and this pop royalty status, so early into her career, right? To us, our perspective is that she just started, but from her perspective, she's been working hard for quite a while, even at the beginning of her career. So, compassion for others and compassion for yourself and your own journey and all of the facets that has informed. Now, the second part about harmony has the siren, which is kind of this updated Oops, I Did It Again look. If you remember the performance from Oops, I Did It Again, it actually has a card representing that performance here. It's called the Showstopper because it definitely turned a lot of heads when she debuted this outfit at the VMAs. You can see it's kind of an updated look from one era into the next. The siren's really there representing maturity, representing that enchantment, and even these elements of sensuality, right? As Britney Spears is coming into her own as an icon, her vision is getting refined, it's getting matured. And so the harmonious aspect there, what aspects of my life need more harmony? You may need to, reconcile where you are in your journey, right? What parts of your journey or what elements of your journey are incongruous with you achieving that harmony and that actualization, right? Here, Britney was able to just really mature, and it led to one of her biggest hits of all time. Toxic was one of the most expensive music videos of all time. It's one of her it's probably one of her signature songs, to be honest. And she's mentioned multiple times that it's one of her favorite songs of all time, as she kind of retrospected on her own discography. So, just finding harmony between your own growth and your path to maturity. Something to look at, something to find insight on and reflect on. Now, this third card here is symbolizes or reflects how you can, how you can invite more self-love into your life. And that's really interesting when it comes to the Boho Babe. Boho Babe is a card all about contentment, right? So this is indicative of Britney Spears's Instagram era. It's her, it's not essentially a resting on your laurels kind of contentment, but Britney Spears's Instagram is very much just a kind of down-to-earth window into her day-to-day life, right? And as she's settled into, her late 30s and into her 40s, she's taken a look back of all the things that she's already done, all the experiences she's gone through, and finding contentment within that, right? Not letting that in and of itself stop her own journey, right? There's rumors swirling around already that her and Elton John are preparing a big single based on Tiny Dancer from Elton's discography. So I'm assuming that's going to be something pretty similar to his collaboration with Dua Lipa. So it's not like she's not working or she's not engaging all the faculties that make her who she is, but she is very content, very happy with all that she has achieved and the position that she's at in life. So that the aspect of your life that needs more self-love in this case is almost self-referential. It's talking about that state of being happy with what you have and with what you have accomplished. It's kind of a laid back version of celebration. It is not like a super huge display of all your talent all at once, like maybe it was when she did a medley of all her greatest hits at the Billboard Music Awards. Rather, this is a more domestic sense of fulfillment and contentment, right? One that doesn't have to constantly announce to the world that it is the princess, now queen of pop. I really love this fourth card. This is the step needed to strengthen your self-esteem. And in this case, it's drawing from another kind of sort of Instagram era Britney Spears, but it's harkening back to a motif that goes back a lot further back in her career, which is the Forest Fairy. Now, the Forest Fairy is indicative of hitting that pause button. It is grounding. Britney, for the longest time, in a lot of her in her tour outfits and music videos, even in like commercials for her perfumes and stuff, embodies or chooses to embody the symbol of the fairy. And actually, within this deck, we have another card that alludes to that as well, the card of the Seeker, right? So it has these components of reflection, of grounding, of getting your bearings, and just looking inwards as well. There's also, I'm just thinking specifically of this one. I think it's for Curious. This one music, it's not a music video, but it basically is, for the commercial for one of her perfumes. She's very, almost like ethereal. A good word that's getting a lot of buzz around now is liminal, right? Ephemeral. It is this kind of transition period in which you're kind of a little more focused on yourself, a little more guarded, but it's in the sake of healing, in the sake of, getting your bearings and reorienting yourself and, just protecting yourself and learning. So the step that you need to strengthen your self-esteem, this card is telling you to look inwards, to kind of retreat a little bit into the forest, back into the safety of enchantment, right? And experience the healing that happens when you set aside some time for yourself to think through things, to make, actions for yourself, even if it is a transitionary or, like I said, a liminal period. It's still an important one. Now, this last part right here, oh my goodness, I love that this is the advice that this spread had to give. We've gone through parts of compassion, harmony, self-love, and self-esteem, right? And now the coup de grace of this whole thing is the masterpiece being unveiled as the piece of advice, the thing that this whole spread is trying to tell you, right? The masterpiece in this case showcases the cover of Britney's own masterpiece, at least in terms of her discography, which is the album Blackout, her 5th studio record. And as such, this is a very forward-thinking card. It is very much a card of not being a follower, of a promise that the greatest is yet to come. When I think about this album, when I think about Blackout, it's very much pushing the envelope. It is not attempting to coddle its listeners. It's remarkably fresh, like over a decade after its release. This came out in 2007, so it's coming up on a couple important birthdays pretty soon. But the songs on it, from Gimme More to Piece of Me, Radar, those are songs that are looking forwards into the future, and that just really shook up the pop landscape in time for other really important electro acts to come in and just push pop into a brand new direction. When we think about that kind of golden age of pop from like 2008 to 2013. Britney helps start that process with Blackout, and she furthers that music genre of electro pop as opposed to like teen pop or that more thousand sound with subsequent efforts like Circus and Femme Fatale. So overall, as you're looking at all these cards and kind of the different struggles or the different ways that you can invite or that you can learn from these archetypes, the masterpiece as a piece of advice is ultimately telling you best is yet to come, that, you're on the cusp or the precipice of greatness, and that you should be looking forwards. You shouldn't be looking backwards for too long. That you should be taking all of the steps that you're wanting to take in being more compassionate, more harmonious, more self-loving, and with a greater self-esteem for yourself and others. You know, that should be a forwards-looking process and not necessarily one where you're just beating yourself up or you're retreading over old ground. So yeah, that's my 5-card spread. I've really enjoyed working with this Oracle deck. I am a big fan of Britney, so I think that really does help in kind of understanding some of the symbols and some of the meanings behind these cards. It has an excellent guidebook, though, that you can use and that you can study in order to be a little more adept at kind of understanding or pinpointing the different parts of her life. But when I think of this deck, and when I think of its applications in a practical sense and not merely as a collectible item, I think that it really shines best when it's used to query elements of compassion and harmony and self-love. Like I said before, it's a very positive deck, and because it is so on to one side, it is so positive and denies or kind of doesn't really account for some of the darker moments in Britney's life. It really just allows you to access a very pure and unadulterated energy, right? You can still be cognizant of things that are happening in Britney's life, right? 2007, not the best year, but that's not really what we're using these cards for. We're not using these cards to like relitigate the past of a celebrity. We're here to use them and to learn from them and to apply them into our own lives, even if it's in like a fun or a fresh way, the way that it is when you have oracle cards using the career of Britney Spears as symbols and signs. So I hope this was informative to you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this spread, what you think about this Britney Spears deck as a whole, just as an entity, and whether or not you think that, you know, you find this useful, or whether or not you think that this could be applicable in your own practice, or with your own Britney Spears oracle cards. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Again, like I said at the end of the other video, if you found this insightful, go ahead and press like so that the YouTube algorithm can do its thing, find other people that are potentially interested and would value this kind of information and insight as well. Until next time, everybody, I'll see y'all later. Bye!